1800 hours. Observed squadron of Boston bombers flying very high, headed towards the front. These days, the sound of any plane made one jumpy. Since leaving camp, trucks and lorries had passed us taking mail, etc., and supplies. This day, a truck had arrived with our mail. "Gunner Milligan?" shouted Bombardier Marston. I ran 50 yards to him. "Yes, Bomb?" "No mail for you," he told me gleefully. Bastard! I was shattered. What were all those women I had been sleeping with back home doing? I mean, now I'd gone, they'd have time on their hands, but worse, there was no mail from Lily or Louise. First Lily. Milligan tells all. His loves, his desires, his secret sexual codes, and his receipt for aphrodisiacs. Take 600 oysters and porridge, and read it all in the Sun. It was 1936. I was aged 17, smothered in pimples. Even my suit had them. I worked in S. Straker's of Queen Victoria Street. My pay was 13 shillings a week. After the train fare from Honor Oak Park to London Bridge, it left 7 shillings and 6,000 pimples. Standing on platform 1 of an evening, waiting for the 6:15, a small crowd of casual acquaintances would congregate. London Bridge Station, grim, grey, like a mighty iron mangle that squeezed people through its rollers into compartments. Yet I fell in love there. 3rd class, mind you. Lily. She was about 5'6", delightfully shaped, dark hair, brown doe-like eyes, a funny nose and slim legs, but I wasn't interested. I was after a girl with green eyes and red hair with fat legs who wore an imitation leopard skin. But Lily fancied me. She made it a point, like General Sherman, of being there firstest with the mostest. The first time we met, I was running along the platform to get a seat up front. In comes Lily, and I say, "Take my seat." "No," she smiles, "I'll sit on your lap." She did. Very disturbing for a young man brought up on curry, cod liver oil, and Kepler's malt. The relationship developed rapidly, and so did I. We fell madly in love. She wanted to get married on 13 shillings a week. Well, I couldn't. 13 shillings a week? We'd have to spend our honeymoon on a tram. Marriage, I was so innocent, I had no idea how the sex act was performed. When the bloke said, "You get across a woman," I thought you laid on the woman crosswise, making a crucifix. I was 17, stupid, and a Roman Catholic. Any questions? I had to learn the hard way. Braille. Of course I wanted sex. God, how clumsy I must have been. Finally, after 3 years being fed up with waiting, she went off with some red-headed twit called Roddy. As far as she was concerned, it was over. Not for me. Brought up on silent films with a romantic Irish father who told me I was descended from the kings of Connaught, I played out the scene of the rejected lover. Sitting on a bench in Ladywell Recreation Grounds, with a quarter of jelly babies, I would slump in the corner of the bench in a series of scorned attitudes, hoping that she would come looking for me, like James Cagney and Shanghai Lil. I would do anything up to 27 dejected poses a night before the park keeper threw me out. What I needed was consolation. All my mother gave me was Weetabix. Playing local dances, I would buy ginger ale, disguise it in a whiskey glass, hoping she would see me taking gulps in between trumpet solos, pretending I was drunk. I was now Robert Taylor. I would play sobbing trumpet choruses until even the Jews would shout, "Stop! Enough is enough!" I would wait at night on the opposite side of the street to her house, with my Marks and Spencer's mackintosh, 5 shillings and threepence in a sale, with the coat collar up, making sure when she came home with a new boyfriend, I would be standing under the gas lamp, smoking a cigarette. When they arrived, I would throw down the cigarette, stamp on it, place my hands in my pockets, then walk away whistling Bing Crosby's "The Thrill Is Gone." And so had I. I did that every night of December. I got pneumonia. Just what I wanted. I wrote and told her I was dying. She sent me a get well card. I thought one evening I would throw myself from the bandstand and crash at the feet of her and her partner. Before I could, she moved her dancing habits elsewhere. On the night I planned it, I sat sweating. Finally, I had to go to the gents and remove the padding stuffed up the front of my shirt to take the shock of the fall. She'd met someone with a car. I used to give chase, shouting threats. After a year of this, I had the shoes resold 50 times, chased the car 1,073 miles, lost hope, and had calves like Nureyev. But I imagined, like Camille, she would return one winter's night to die in my arms at 50 Rizzledine Road, Brockley Rise, SC26. I offered her champagne, Ovaltine, really. She would ask me to play honeysuckle rose in my trumpet, and then die. It didn't happen. And not only did it not happen, here I was by the roadside of some bloody wog village in Africa, and she hadn't even bothered to write to me. But, chum, living in hope is no reason to go without. I mean, what's wrong with part-time love affairs, which included night occupations from the waist down? I mean, I had to keep fit. To this end, I let other women into my life. I was good-looking, so I went in at the deep end. There was lovely Juno-esque Ivy, her sister Madge, then her married sister. Hat-trick, Eileen. Ivy had taught me how to. From then on, there was no stopping me. I had to go on to vitamin pills. There was Dot on One Tree Hill, Broccoli Doris, who was to get married on the morrow, Deptford Flo, Miss McCafferty of Lewisham Hospital. Once in uniform, I ran to a spate of affairs. Oh, Louise, Louise, Louise. So, no mail. Cheer up, said Gunner Forrest. You can read my letter. My wife's pissed off with a Polish pilot. With eyesight like that, how did he become a pilot, I said.